الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. الحمد لله. The whole protocol, MashaAllah. ولا عليك. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في سبيل الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. وبعد، فيقول الله عز وجل في التنزيل الحكيم من بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. الحمد لله على نعمه ما ظهر منها وما بطن. All praise is due to Allah alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the Lord of mercy, رب الرحمة subhanahu wa ta'ala. وبدأ بأول سورة وأول آية بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حتى قال Dr. Jeffrey Lang, he said about this, he said, I was an atheist and I didn't believe in any religion. And when the Quran was given to me and I read this first verse, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, he said, I turned around and said, who wrote this? Because there is no mercy on earth. It cannot be. Alhamdulillah is a great Muslim scholar. Kansas. Now we ask, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, most merciful, most compassionate. ثم ذكر نبيه عليه الصلاة والسلام محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم صل على المصطفى وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. The only purpose that you have been sent on earth is to be the mercy. And mercy on what? On all of mankind. واجتمع في ذلك الجن والإنس. The same. قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. That means even the jinn, when they heard it, the message that Muhammad ﷺ came with, they embraced the faith. Those who are the righteous. The reason I bring the topic of rahmah and forgiveness, they go along with one another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is for you, brother, and myself, and for you, sister, and anyone, you have to remember this. Times of stress and difficulties are going to hit us hard, on and on and on. And the youth who are here, if you haven't experienced life yet, I will promise you, wallahi, I will promise you that you are going to be tested. And I base this from قوله سبحانه وتعالى وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Surely, verily, we are going to test you with some fear, some hunger, some loss of a life or wealth, and give the good news to those who are patient. So the youth, you have to prepare yourself for that. As for us, brothers who have a certain age, we have to remind each other about that. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And in the moments of stress and difficulties, that's when we turn to what? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we remember His mercy. We remember His mercy, and we remember to be merciful with those that are having a problem with us. With those that are having a problem with us, and we remember to forgive, because forgiveness is a must for the believing man and woman. should we not do that, then how do we expect to be forgiven? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had one of his grandchildren on his lap and he was kissing him. And the man looked at him, and a Muslim, he said, I have 10 of those. I never kissed any one of them. He said, we have no power over what you have in your heart. Those who do not show mercy, there will be no mercy shown to them. من لا يرحم لا يرحم. هذا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. In Surah Al-Mumtahana, or Al-Mumtahina, there are meaning for both of them, and it's okay to mention it the two ways. We have the beautiful story on how the believing men and women, and there was this agreement between Quraysh and the people of Mecca and the Prophet ﷺ in Al-Madinah, and it was a difficult treaty. Meaning what? That if anyone of Mecca turns to become a Muslim, cannot come to you. And anyone who is a Muslim in Medina and decides to come back to us, it's okay. And then we hear about the women. Allah says, test the women, check with them about their iman, and please read this beautiful story. But the story goes with Hatim, one of the companions of the Prophet, as he is in Al-Madinah, and there was this, they were trying to plot to go and do some kind of expedition, the Prophet ﷺ, and he shared it with few of his companions. And this one was one of them. We're talking about rahmah, forgiveness. And he hears that the Prophet eventually, because the treaty was being broken, that the Prophet is going to send an army to go to Mecca. What did Hatim do? He asks a woman to take the news to his family because they had no one for protection. Nowadays we call this betrayal, treason. Punishable by what? By death penalty. And the story is so beautiful. This is where we see the leadership of the Prophet ﷺ. This is where we see the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ towards his companions, because that was a good companion. Such to way that he was just scared for his family only. And he thought that if he tells them, eventually they will be spared. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu and another companion, they went after the lady and they found the message on her. And the Prophet ﷺ called him, what have you done? Now what do we expect from the other companions? Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and all those, the strong men. Ya Rasulullah, aqta' ra'sah, just cut his head off. He said, wait, why did you do that? Now, lesson of leadership, we listen to the one who is wrong, who has wronged us. We give them a chance to express themselves. We are not here to punish people. Eventually, we discipline people, we correct people, but we don't punish. And this is the way of the Prophet ﷺ, out of what? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Out of his mercy. This is the deep understanding of the faith of Islam. He told him, Ya Rasulullah, the only thing I was afraid was for my family. I never really thought about it as a betrayal. And of course the companions were mad at him. And then he said, look at what he did. Did he offer anything? Was he with us? Well, look at the bigger picture. That's what we need to do. When we are having a problem with someone, we should look at the bigger picture. SubhanAllah, and I've seen this over and over in my life in the United States. We glorify some of our scholars. We raise them to a top level. The moment they make one mistake, it's as if they fell, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, below the surface of the earth. For one mistake. Yet the Prophet ﷺ reminded us that those who do something wrong out of ijtihad, that means they are trying to do some righteous deed, but they do it wrong, they will still have the ajr for trying. What is it with us that we literally destroy the image of a person or the reputation of a person on the basis that he or she committed one mistake or two? Don't we look at ourselves? Don't we look at ourselves? هل أنا معصوم? Am I perfect? لا والله. And you're not, and she's not, and nobody is. إِلَّا الْأَنْبِيَاءُ وَالرُّسُلُ. Except for the prophets, and themselves, they were perfect in the way they delivered the message. Yet they were human beings. We learn from them. We learn this attitude of, I differ with you, but you're not my enemy. Yes, particularly when it comes Muslim to Muslim. Muslim to Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives all the sins. And He says it in the beautiful surah, in Surah Al-Zumar. قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. Say, oh my servants, those who go into extremes in the way you do sins, don't give up from the rahmah. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله, mercy of Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. He forgives all of the sins. بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَؤُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. About the Prophet ﷺ. Allah gave him two of his attributes, reminding us of how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with the believing men and women with affection, love, as well as mercy and forgiveness. And in that moment of stress, in that moment where Hatim thought that it was done for him, he will be executed, the Prophet ﷺ told him, "Zo, you're okay. Mistake was done, you will not do it again. And your family will be protected by Allah if He wishes so." Subhanallah. Now we look at our relationship with us. Always from the big picture, brothers and sisters, bring it to your level. Your level. How am I dealing with my husband? How am I dealing with my wife? How am I dealing with my brother in the faith? How am I dealing with my sister? How am I dealing with my cousin? There are brothers from the same womb and sisters who did not talk to each other for not a year, not 2 years, not 3 years, but 20 years and plus. For what? What? Inheritance. أولو الأرحام أولى بعضهم ببعض. Allah says, those that are from the same womb, they have rights upon each other. Yet, the brother does not call his sister and she keeps calling him on and on and on. What is it with us? Where is the rahmah? We count the money as if the money we will take it with us in the grave. لا والله ما تأخذ إلا عملك وما أمنت به. That's all you take with you. You take your deeds and what you believe in. And for those who constantly forgive, those who constantly are ready to give and to forgive, these are the ones, the blessed ones. These are those who are patient. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah says, give the good news to those who are patient. So are we learning from our faith in our dealings? There are fathers who do not talk to their sons. And I had a complaint from a young teenager who said, for 2 months my father did not talk to me for a mistake I made. And I say, أين الرحمة? Where is the mercy? حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. What is it with us? We have to learn to go to that rahmah. If we don't nourish the mercy in our hearts, what do we expect? Hatred and anger are going to be nourished. It's either this or that. It cannot be a void. It's impossible for the heart to be empty. It's impossible. It either has iman or kufr. Either has affection and love or has what? Hatred and violence. It's impossible. Allah created us like that. In fact, when I talk about the heart, that's another khutbah by itself. Okay? The heart now is a mind-blowing organ of the human being. Please read about it. It has its own brain. إنها لا تعمل أبصار ولكن تعمل قلوب التي في الصدور. صدق الله سبحانه وتعالى. It is not the eyes that are blind. It is the hearts in the chest of man and women, of course, that are blind. That are blind. Yes. If the heart is as hard as a rock, as Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, please read that. قلوبهم كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة, as he says. If it is hard or harder than
the rock, what do we expect? Do we expect some rahmah to come from it? Do we expect that? No. And that's why we have to nourish it with the rahmah. We have to nourish it with forgiveness. Before we sleep, we ask ourselves, have I forgiven so-and-so? Have I been kind to so-and-so? Did I check on my children? Did I hug my daughter? Did I say salam alaikum to those brothers? Ask ourselves. Bring that to your attention. This is how we nourish our heart. We nourish it. And the heart needs that. Needs that. The society in the world, not only in the United States, it's growing to be extremely angry and violent. Angry and violent. I gave a nice lecture on the youth and the social behavior. There are research now, literally, there is research on this topic, that the children, the youth are growing what? Very sad and angry. And it is fed by the corporate world. They have no self-image. And if they are growing that way, that means the heart is filled with the wrong thing. The heart has to be filled with the rahmah, has to be filled with love, has to be filled with the compassion. This is what Allah wants from us, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says it many, many times. Look at how He addresses the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. Allah teaching His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it is out of a mercy from Allah that you became lenient towards them, towards His companions. Should you have been hard and harsh-hearted, they would have been running away from you. Mothers, please hug your children. Love your children. Cover your children when they sleep. Show them all the compassion that you can. And do the same, brothers. You are no different. The Prophet ﷺ would stand and walk towards Fatima when she entered, radiallahu anha. And he would kiss her on the forehead, and he would take her hand and takes her all the way where he was sitting, and everybody would watch that. It's in the hadith, it's in the seerah. What kind of a love in full expression is this? Allahu Akbar. This destroys every image that the Muslim man is what? Is always violent towards the Muslim woman. That's not true. Because the Prophet ﷺ did that. He showed compassion and love in action. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Are we learning from that? I often tell my wife, children, if we don't give them love when they are young, affection, and we treat them the best way, one day they'll never come back to the house. Because they don't remember having any type of kindness and love and mercy in the home. Whereas when we do the opposite and we give them, we nourish their hearts and their minds with that love and affection and mercy and rahmah and forgiveness, expect them even at the age of 50 to say, Mom, I'm having some problems, I want to come home. Yes. Ask me, I did that. My late mother, she would have told you that. When I had problems, the first person I would think of, it's my mother. And that's how we should teach our kids, by feeding them the right thing, so that they come back to us. When nobody else can help them, we can at least comfort them. We can show them love and mercy and rahmah. Are we able to do that? Are we able to learn that? Give 1 hour of your time. Your brother who is so busy from 5 in the morning to midnight. Don't do that to your children. That's not rahmah and mercy. Your kid needs you. He doesn't need the amount of money you have in the bank. Yes, you are thinking, who pays the bills? Make just enough to pay the bills, to give him the rahmah and the mercy. Because if you don't, the cycle will repeat itself. Children will do what they see us do. Daddy was never home, why should I be home? Yes. And the sister calling me, complaining that she would beg her husband, to go with her to the hospital to treat their son. I don't have time for that. I don't like hospitals. I don't like doctors. What kind of a talk is this? Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. What kind of a heart is this? If you don't hug your son or daughter and you take them and you treat them and you comfort them, who are you? That's not manhood, by the way. That's not the rujula. That's not manhood. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana yabki He would cry for any type of scene that would touch his heart. Suffice that he entered the garden and he finds a camel that was literally so skinny, like torture. And the camel put its neck on the Prophet's shoulder, and the camel is crying and the Prophet is crying. He said, whose camel is this? Where is the rahmah? Where is the rahmah? I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us because of those who listen to the righteous word and follow it with the right example. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين نبي الرحمة وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمع القول فيتبع أحسنه يا رب. If you notice, there is lots of brouhaha these days about President Trump being elected. And I tell my Muslim brothers and sisters, this is nothing new for us. I was asked to give a lecture on the challenges that we face for the future. It was in Ibrahimi Masjid here in Fort Worth. This is not new for us, okay? And this is the time where we unite, and this is the time where we give our hand to the new president and say, we want to talk to you because we are a positive force in this land, okay? No matter what his ideas or opinion about the Muslims, and he knows better, okay? And we are here to bring mercy and to bring peace to this land, like we did not for the past 50 years, not for the past 100 years. Islam has been in the land of the Americas for over, 1,000 years plus, through the traders from Africa. Read your history. You need to know that. We can remind him what Benjamin Franklin said about the Mufti of Istanbul giving a sermon, a khutbah, in Philadelphia. How much Islam was known and to be praised to be a religion of peace, a religion of rahmah, a religion of forgiveness. So we shouldn't be afraid of that, but we should stand strong and unite and make ourselves heard by the new president and those who are around him. We should not be afraid of that. Okay? I just thought it would be very important to address it. And we can discuss more, inshallah, with leadership of different masajid about the actions to be taken. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم اغفر لنا وأنت الغفور الرحيم وارحمنا وأنت أرحم الراحمين واعف عنا وأنت العفو الكريم اللهم تب علينا اللهم تب علينا اللهم تب علينا اللهم اصلحنا واصلح ذات بيننا وألف بين قلوبنا واجمع شملنا اللهم اصلح أزواجنا وذريتنا واصلحنا لأزواجنا إنك سميع مجيب الدعاء سبحانك وتعاليت اللهم انصر من نصرك بالحق إنك على نصرهم لقدير اللهم ارحم أمواتنا واشف أمراضنا وطهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة إنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور وأقم الصلاة وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه